Yeah, I wanted to talk about what I would call my basher quadcopters. Don't really have to worry about them too much. Just go out and fly and have some fun. Easy to fly, pretty tough little quadcopters. So they're made by Dromida, and I've had the Ominous for probably over 2 years, and it's the first one that came out. Easy to fly, high durability, $100 all in. And then there's the new Vista, which the Vista came out last year. I've had it mine for probably about a year. The Vista has some improvements. So here's my Ominous, and this Ominous is still fully functional. Actually, it's been through a lot. I've crashed it, bashed it, smashed it, and it still has all original motors, all original frame. Has a couple of dog bites in it and stuff. There's a big gash from a dog tooth right there, but yeah, I've been very happy with the durability of it, but flight characteristics, it's pretty sloppy. The thing I specifically don't like about the Ominous is that if you're in a hover and you start dropping down directly over yourself, it gets into a pretty bad vortex ring state, and it gets very wobbly and it can't recover, and it usually hits the ground. It can't pull itself out of that once it gets a really bad wobble going on. So what you do is you can pitch forward and get out of your own vortex. The Vista is the upgraded model, the new version. It has some extra niceties to it. First of all, the frame design is much better for orientation. When you're in the sky, you can really always tell which way you're pointed with that little nose, and then the way that the rear end is shaped, and all of this lights up. It's very good. But the reason why I'm showing these is because I've finally had a fault with one. I was flying these with my friend, and we got into a mid-air collision. I was flying the Vista, he was flying the Ominous. The Ominous stayed in the air. This Vista, it came down and crashed. Fairly lightly crashed, but it hit on pavement, and it came right down on this rear motor pod. And since then, this motor doesn't work at all anymore. So I looked at replacing the stock motors, and my local hobby store didn't have any, but surprisingly enough, they did have the Micro Motor Warehouse upgraded motors. So these are the 82015s if you look on their website, and so I got this whole set of upgraded motors, and I was going to put them in the Vista. And apparently the 3 motors that I have left that are good are completely compatible with the Ominous, so that will give me 3 replacement motors for that. So I'm going to do a full micro motor upgrade to the Vista. We'll see how that turns out. There's small difference between them, well, not necessarily small, is the controllers. This is the controller for the Ominous. They all have flip buttons. The F mode, you can get it into an acro mode where it has no stability, kind of an expert mode. So you can learn to fly with no automatic leveling. So it's a very good trainer aircraft, actually, although it is a little bit sloppy, and you do have a flip button, so it's very good. The only other comparable model to these on the market right now is the Latrax Alias, and it costs more, and it can do a few more tricks than these can, but overall, durability wise, I think these ones are a bit more durable than the Traxxas. And here's the controller for the Vista. It is a little bit different shaped because they also have a Vista FPV, and there's an Ominous FPV as well that gives you bigger motors, and it carries a camera, and then you get a mount for your smartphone, and you can watch the screen. So size wise for the frames, the Vista is a little bit bigger than the Ominous, a few millimeters bigger anyway. They're pretty close though. I mean, they're almost exact, but there is a small size difference. But the other big major improvement of the Vista, and part of the reason why it flies so much better, is the prop design. These are the props on the Vista compared to the props on the Ominous, and they are cross-compatible. So I've put the Vista props on the Ominous before and took it for a test flight. That does make the Ominous fly slightly better, but it doesn't completely eliminate that vortex ring state problem I was talking about. So if you're interested in buying one of these, I would say avoid the Ominous. It's a little bit old stock now, and just pick up a Vista. Okay, so I'm going to start with a motor swap on the bad one, just to confirm that the flight controller and the electronics and stuff are all okay, because it's this motor that will not spin anymore. And it's very simple to change a motor on a Ominous or a Vista, because they are geared right? You have a big spur gear and a pinion, and so the motor itself, you can just slip it in, slip it out with literally one screw. You remove this screw here, the motor pod unclips and pulls off after you fiddle with it a bit, and then the motor just unplugs and slips right out. So I'll show you that in a second. You do need very small screwdriver. You need like a jeweler set pretty much. And then this motor pod will just kind of unclip. Yeah, so that was a little bit too aggressive, but the whole motor and the plug came unplugged. So yeah, it was literally that simple to remove this. Here's the motor itself and the plug, and this all just pulls out of here. Yeah, I can't do it with one finger. I can't do it with one hand, but it just pops out. I'm going to plug a new micro motor into that plug and make sure it spins. Okay, I just wanted to show, here is the motor itself after it's been pulled out of the pod. There is no screws for that, you just pull it straight out. And something that's nice about the original motors is that it had this brass pinion, and those are just friction fit from the factory. I don't think you can change them all that easily. I'm not even sure if you're expected to. I think maybe when the gear breaks you're almost meant to just buy a whole new motor, but don't, do your own research on that. But the new ones, the new micro motor ones, have plastic gears. Okay, I've inserted the new micro motor warehouse in just temporarily. Just power this on and give it a quick test. So let me power on the transmitter, and I'll power on the quadcopter, and as long as that motor turns, then I know that I'm ready to proceed with the changing all the rest of the motors. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so I've reinstalled the motor pod. There is a clip on the side. You have to kind of tip it in and then set it down in. You'll figure it out once you do it. Okay, this is just a quick test to see if the one micro motor makes a difference. Huh. I mean, I matched the color code of the wires. Maybe they're different. Okay, so here's a weird issue. I put the stock motor back inside and now it works. This is the first time I've had that motor spin. Yeah, now it totally works. That's on all stock motors again. What's up with that? Okay, I have confirmed that the micro motors, they're color coded wrong. So the blue and reds, when you match them up to a blue and a red, this is the stock motor that was on this side, there's a blue and a red. They turn opposite directions. So I don't know if I got a manufacturing problem or if they're all backwards like that. So I mean, that's something you have to be aware of. If you're going to swap all your motors to micro motors, you got to do them opposite of what the colors were originally. The wires that it connects to, they're all black and red, so it's you're not going to know after you do it. Anyway, it's a little bit of a screw with your mind thing. I don't know if they made a mistake when they were making these or not, but so I need to replace a blue and a red with a black and a white. Okay, this is now, I have put all 4 micro motors on the Vista, and like I said, the color coding on the micro motors is completely opposite of what stock is, so I had to they basically have to put them in the reverse position of all the stock colors. Now it should take off fine, yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to tell in here if it's any better, but outside we should. Okay, and now ready to fly the Dromida Vista. This is with 4 all-new micro motors. So I'm going to see if it feels any more powerful than stock. Good. Personally, I mean, it is very windy today, but personally I don't feel like it's any more powerful than the stock motors. But if it was in the calm day, maybe it would feel more powerful, but if it is more powerful, it's very marginal. Anyway, thanks for watching.